Chase Maddox was the kind of guy who could sell a lie with a smile, and Talia Voss was the kind of woman who'd buy it, wear it, and turn it into a weapon. He built an empire on charm and manipulation. She built a fantasy on obsession and revenge. Together, they created a love story so twisted, it ended in blood, buried secrets, and a live stream that shocked the nation. This wasn't just a toxic romance. It was a psychological war, and only one of them knew how far they were willing to go. The Crime Scene presents a new page of crime, a new mystery, a new shock case. Chase Maddox was the kind of guy who made people stop and stare. In his hometown, he wasn't just popular, he was untouchable. Varsity quarterback, prom king, and the face of every local charity drive. He had that all-American glow, the kind that made folks trust him without question. But underneath the charm and polished smile was a guy who didn't just crave attention, he fed off it. Chase didn't want fans. He wanted worshipers. By 25, he'd turned his small-town fame into a slick online persona. He called himself a mindset architect, selling overpriced ebooks and hosting live streams where he preached grind culture like it was gospel. His followers, mostly burnout bros and heartbroken women, hung on every word. They called him Coach C, and he loved it. But Chase wasn't coaching anyone. He was collecting loyalty, stacking it like poker chips, and cashing in on people's desperation. He played the internet like a chessboard. One week, he'd post motivational quotes. The next, he'd vanish for days, only to return with cryptic captions about betrayal and rebirth. It was all part of the act. He thrived on chaos, always keeping his audience guessing, always dangling just enough mystery to keep them hooked. Every DM, every voice memo, every teary-eyed testimonial, he saved them, not for inspiration, but for leverage. Thing is, when you build your empire on manipulation, you better be ready for someone who sees through the smoke. Someone who doesn't just admire you, but studies you. Someone who watches every move, memorizes every post, and starts to mirror your brand like it's their own. While Chase was busy stacking followers and flexing his lifestyle, a storm was brewing in the background. Quiet, calculated, obsessed, and unlike his usual fans, Talia Voss wasn't your average fangirl. She had a past full of rehab stints, restraining orders, and a trail of exes who either disappeared or wished they had. A former pageant queen turned wellness influencer, she knew how to play the game. Smile for the camera, sell the detox tea, and hide the crazy behind curated captions. But when she stumbled across Chase Maddox's feed, something snapped. She didn't just want to follow him. She wanted to be him. At first, it looked like admiration. She reposted his quotes, tagged him in her stories, even bought his merch. But then she started copying his brand colors, mimicking his captions word for word, and filming videos in the same style, down to the lighting and background music. Her followers thought it was a collab. Chase thought it was flattering, until she showed up at his gym wearing a hoodie with his logo and introduced herself to the front desk as Mrs. Maddox. He blocked her. She hacked his email. He moved cities. She rented the apartment next door. It wasn't just obsession, it was identity theft with a spiritual twist. Talia believed she was his soulmate, his mirror, his divine counterpart. She started posting cryptic videos about twin flame ascension and energetic merging, all while tracking his every move. Her captions got darker, her eyes got wilder, and her followers? They started dropping off, fast. The cops called it harassment. Chase called it a phase. But Talia was just getting started. She created burner accounts to stalk his clients, leaked fake screenshots of their relationship, and even mailed him a scrapbook filled with photoshopped wedding pics. It was like watching a slow-motion car crash, mesmerizing, terrifying, and impossible to look away from. Chase had dealt with obsessed fans before, but this wasn't fandom. This was a takeover. And the deeper she spiraled, the more it felt like she wasn't chasing him anymore. Labor Day weekend hit like a ghost town. Chase Maddox, usually glued to his socials, dropped a cryptic story, time to detox from fake energy, then vanished. No texts, no posts, no sightings. His followers thought it was a rebrand stunt. His assistant thought it was foul play. She filed a missing person report after showing up to his condo and finding the place trashed. Couch cushions ripped open, phones smashed on the floor, and a single red rose laid dead center on the kitchen counter. No blood, no note, just vibes that screamed something wasn't right. Neighbors said they saw him leave with a woman in a hoodie, face hidden, walking like she owned the night. Security cams? Wiped clean. GPS? Disabled. It was like Chase had ghosted the world, except this time, it wasn't on his terms. 3 days later, Talia Voss posted a video from a cabin deep in the woods. No captions. Just her, sipping wine, smiling like she'd won something. Around her neck? Chase's signature necklace, the one he never took off. The internet lit up. Fans started sleuthing. Cops started knocking. But when they reached the cabin, it was empty. No Chase. No Talia. Just a blood-stained mattress, a broken ring light, and a burner phone duct taped to the wall. That phone had one saved contact. Daddy. It wasn't a number. It was a name. And it wasn't Chase's. The whole thing felt staged, like a twisted scavenger hunt. But the deeper they dug, the darker it got. The cabin was rented under a fake name. The wine bottle had fingerprints, none of them Chase's. And the necklace? It wasn't his. It was a replica, ordered online 2 weeks before he disappeared. Every clue pointed to Talia, but none of it made sense. It was like she wanted to be found, but only on her terms. Like she was writing her own ending, and Chase was just a prop in her final act. The burner phone duct taped to the cabin wall cracked the case wide open. It wasn't just a prop, it was a portal into Talia Voss's mind. Hundreds of texts, all written in Chase Maddox's voice, sent from one fake account to another. She'd been messaging herself for months, scripting a fantasy relationship down to the fights, the makeups, and the declarations of love. Every message was time-stamped, organized, and backed up. It wasn't obsession anymore. It was delusion with a production budget. The name saved in the phone, Daddy, wasn't Chase. It was a burner identity she used to roleplay both sides of their twisted love story. Investigators found matching fingerprints on the phone and on a shovel buried behind the cabin. Underneath that shovel was a shallow grave wrapped in Chase's branded bedsheets. But the body wasn't his. It was his assistant, missing for 2 weeks, last seen leaving a late-night meeting with Talia. Autopsy reports revealed blunt force trauma and traces of sedatives. The assistant had been having a secret affair with Talia, one she documented obsessively in her private vlogs. She called him Plan B, a backup in case Chase didn't wake up to the truth. But when he tried to cut ties, she flipped. The murder wasn't impulsive, it was rehearsed. Talia had a history of identity theft, stalking, and one suspicious overdose linked to a former boyfriend. She'd been in and out of psych wards, always released for good behavior. But this time, she left a trail. Surveillance footage showed her buying the replica necklace, renting the cabin, and purchasing the exact wine Chase used in his live streams. She wasn't just copying him. She was building a shrine. The deeper the feds dug, the clearer it became. Talia didn't want to be with Chase. She wanted to erase him and replace him. The autopsy report flipped the whole narrative. The body found under the cabin wasn't Chase Maddox. It was his assistant, the same one who filed the missing person report and quietly vanished 2 weeks earlier. Turns out, he'd been having a secret affair with Talia Voss, and she documented every moment like it was a twisted rom-com. Her private vlogs revealed a backup plan she called Plan B, in case Chase didn't wake up to the truth. But when the assistant tried to cut ties, she snapped. The murder wasn't messy, it was methodical. Investigators traced her steps like a breadcrumb trail. She bought a replica of Chase's necklace, rented the cabin under a fake name, and even ordered the exact wine brand Chase used in his live streams. It wasn't just obsession, it was a full-blown production. She staged the scene to look like a romantic retreat gone wrong, knowing the internet would eat it up. But the real twist came when Chase reappeared. He wasn't dead. He wasn't kidnapped. He was hiding. Chase had faked his own disappearance, hoping to frame Talia and ride the wave of public sympathy into a viral comeback. He planted the necklace, leaked the burner phone, and even staged the cabin setup. It was all part of a twisted PR stunt. But he didn't count on Talia going off script. When she realized she'd been played, she went live from a rooftop, ranting about betrayal, fame, and becoming the real Chase. The stream cut out mid-sentence. Hours later, her body was found. No note, just a fresh tattoo on her wrist. #Maddox Mindset. Chase tried to relaunch his brand, but the internet had receipts. His followers bailed, sponsors ghosted, and his name became a cautionary tale whispered in influencer circles. He didn't just lose his empire. He lost control. And for a narcissist like Chase Maddox, that was the real death blow.